Hey everybody, I'm Rick. Welcome to Talking Habs, where you get your daily fix of Blue Blanc Rouge. It's Saturday hockey talk. Off season, not that much to talk about. I just put out a video in case, when you leave here, you can go watch that. I just put out a video about Jacob Fowler, the newest Habs goalie, potentially of the future. So hopefully you guys will check that out. I don't have much as far as news. There's nothing out there for Habs right now. So whatever you guys want to talk about, let's do that. That's why the title was "What's on Your Mind?" Because there's nothing on mine. So if you're here, say hi. Ask a question, whatever you want to know. I'll tell you what I can tell you about that. All right, let's see who's here. There's some people are here. Someone just left. Daryl Adams. Hey, Daryl. With Habs not yet signing Monty, do you think they will pick up a goalie? No, I don't think that at all. Monty right now is potentially, he's the number one guy. His job to lose going into the season right now. They're going to give him a shot as the number one. And no, I don't think they will. Unless, listen, if they move Allen, maybe for save cap, they might say, well, we can move Allen, bring in a lesser goalie. Then, yeah, okay. Maybe then. Hey, Filibuster. How's it going, man? Who's all of us? Now I'm nervous. I mean, there's more people there than you. Yeah, you're 4 people there. Oh, my God. Party on, Garth. Renegade Man. Habs are looking good for the future, as they have been, especially since the new, our new GM and what's his title? Executive, what's his title? Hockey ops. Where was I? No Monto. What's no Monto mean? Who's is that his new nickname? Monto is Monty. I call him Monty. Hey Leon, how you doing? If you mean, but look, Jacob Fowler is not a guy who's going to be here in the next few years. You're looking at, my guess is about 5 years down the road. So that I don't think that has that much effect on Monty. Monty's got 5 years. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about that. Teams who are weak on D is usually the right side. I didn't know this. I'm a right shot person when I play hockey. I didn't know right shot, especially on D, very in demand, and there are not enough of those guys around. Mayu, Reinbacher, and Barron are the pieces going forward. On the right side, gotta think that. That you gotta think that, right? I know Kovacevic is a right shot defenseman. I still think, he doesn't jump over those guys. Hey Joseph, how you doing, man? Joe down under. Joe down under. How's it going, Joe? Let's see, what time is it for Joe there? Gotta be what? 1:32 in the morning? 3 in the morning? If you're like me, you stay up late. I stay up late. Being up at 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning, that's nothing unusual. Not at all. Although I say that being up, sometimes I'm here sitting watching something and I'm sleeping, so I'm not really watching something, but yeah, I'm not in bed at 2 in the morning usually. George LaRock said in the Tony Marinaro show that the Habs should have drafted Michkov. His best days were in Edmonton, and he's 13 forward at best. Okay, we don't have to put Larac down, but I don't agree with him either. But it's to be seen, right? Maybe in 3-4 years we'll go, man, we should have drafted Michkov. That's a possibility. I'm not saying it's out of the question. He's definitely a talented kid. We'll just see how he relates that to the NHL, if it translates. Oh, Joe, I had it really off. I don't know where I got. I wasn't thinking you're in Australia. I was thinking elsewhere in Europe, I guess. It's not that bad. It's Sunday. Sunday, go to church. Sorry about that, Renegade Man, to transfer over. Yeah, listen, I don't agree. Michkov might be a superstar. Still, for me, I'm not sold yet. Let's say that. Leon Monty signed for next season. Yes, he would like an extension. I kind of think that Montreal's going to wait, see how he does. How maybe by mid season, if all is really good, I think Monty gets re-signed. But yeah, he signed for one more year. Guru, Habs Guru, hey buddy, how's it going, man? I'm so used to lately seeing you as the top, the number one comment. I was confused there for a sec. Joseph says he is starting to see a defensive force, reminding me of the 70s. Our forwards are all going to improve because of them. Yeah, I see a big three potentially of Reinbacher, Mailloux, and Hudson. I see that as potentially the future big three here again on the Habs. So we haven't had a big three in like the longest time, obviously, since back then. And we might have it again. Sunday, chill on couch till 2 p.m. What happens at 2 p.m.? What happens at 2 p.m. in Australia? Or at least at Joe's house. Hey, Tony, who do I think plays with Suzuki and Caulfield? Here, I wanted to talk. So I'm working on, I think someone asked me about this last week about early lineup predictions. And I thought I'd just see what, something, I'll tell you, that's not going to be easy this year because there's a lot of players, a lot of competitions at a lot of spots. So I don't think it's going to be Doc. I don't think it's going to be Doc on first line with the two kids because I think they want Doc to be a center, and they didn't pick up PLD. They didn't pick up a center at the draft. Newhook is not a second line center. Doc is. Monahan's not going to be here past this season, more than likely, right? Coming. So you're playing Doc there. So for me, it's Monahan. I think it's going to be Suzuki in between Caulfield and Monahan. But I tell you, I'm going over stuff, and then I forgot Slavkovsky. Oh, he's got it. I forgot this one. Oh, my God. Like there's a lot of players for spots. It's going to be a lot of competition in camp, which is really good. It's not only just competition with some good players competing for these spots. We haven't seen this in a long time. And I usually was pretty easy to do an early lineup. It's not. I'm struggling already. Like I don't know. There's like just too many guys that you can put in, too many options. But I'll narrow it down. Yeah, I think that's going to be the next video I'm working on. I started it now that the Fowler video is done. I think I'm going to do this next. I don't know. We'll see. Or the song. I got the song to do still. Let's see, where was I? Oh, okay, Joe, you're saying Sundays for doing whatever needs to be done. Yeah. I do that any day, I guess. Well, I'm semi-retired, so my schedule is pretty open. I would love to have a superstar playing for the Habs, but superstars are nothing without a supporting cast, including a strong defensive core. Yeah, and you listen, Michkov may be a superstar, but he also may not. And I think it's right now, until he gets here to the NHL and we see which way it is, it's 50-50. Kind of like Schrodinger's superstar, right? Michkov, is he anyways, if you know Schrodinger, I can't say it. Schrodinger's cat. That's it. You know that theory. That's what Michkov is. Stay lit, for Christ's sake. Renegade Man says, I think Slavkovsky should start in the AHL, but I feel both parties believe playing for the club would work out. I think it depends on his training camp. And it, if he doesn't have a strong training camp, there's no, it doesn't really make sense to play him here because there's a lot of guys that can play there now. There's guys, so they don't have to rush him. They don't have to force it. If he doesn't have a good training camp, I think he goes to the AHL. If he does have a good training camp and he beats out everybody else for that slot, then he stays. I think it's easy. And by having all this competition, it makes it easier for them to make that decision when the time comes, right? There's other guys to play that spot. If he doesn't beat those guys out, well, he should be in the AHL. Who will be the best D in the long run between these young studs? That's not clear at all. And Nicholas, by the way, hey, Nicholas, in his opinion, could even be Engstrom. Engstrom is a dark horse there too, right? You're looking at probably next season. Oh, maybe. I mean, I guess maybe this season, but the one after, Engstrom is a guy I've never really thought about and checked into, but I'm hearing really good things about him. In the end, Hudson for defense, though. Well, I think it's going to be between Reinbacher and Hudson. Probably they're going to be a pair, and I think it's going to be between them. Reinbacher, after the development camp scrimmage, the last day, in a little interview they interviewed a bunch of players, and he said Hudson, he's the future, the next Cale Makar. That's what he called him, Reinbacher. So Lane Hudson's going to be a star in this league. David Reinbacher is going to be a star in this league, in my opinion. I don't even, for Lane Hudson, I don't have to add the in my opinion. I think it's kind of a no-brainer. Reinbacher, I think, is going to be a star, and they're going to be a top pairing here in Montreal for many years to come. Did I answer the question, or did I just go off on a tangent? I don't know. They'll probably give Newhook a chance on the first line. Nope. Newhook is a left wing or a center. Cole Caulfield's got the left wing slot on the first line. Newhook's a second line left wing. He's going to play with Doc, and I think it's going to be a good combo right there. That's my opinion, by the way. It's not set in stone, obviously. Joe, you're talking about defense mixing and matching, or just in the lines and stuff? Well, that's what training camp's for, right? Thing is, with training camp, they used to have longer, and now it's like 2 weeks. They don't have as much time, but there's good competition here, and they'll give guys opportunity to show them what they can do, and they'll have to make decisions. Tony, to me, the Monahan on that first line, I don't see where else you play him. When you break it down and you look, and I just don't see where else you play him. At least to start the season. It might not last, it might not work out, whatever. But I think you're gonna start the season with that line. Think of all the pressure situations, all those difficult situations. Monahan on the line with Suzuki. Just think of the mentoring he can do for Nick, and how much calmer Nick can be in those situations when he's got Monahan on his wing, an very experienced center. You know what I mean? I think that it's a no-brainer. Renegade Man, I think it's because of the sexiness of the potential picks, and at the same time, I think the fans that complain about Newhook just didn't do their research on him at all. Listening to what other negative people say about it, and I think if you do your research on the player, I mean, he's still a bit of a project. I mean, he's a young player. But man, he's got real potential, and I think he's going to fit in well with Doc. Nicholas, might see game situations where they change, but I think in general, Monahan, to start the season anyway, is going to be with that first line. Renegade Man says, I feel Hudson is more Quinn Hughes. I mean, Quinn Hughes, Cale Makar. You know what? Okay. You say tomato, I say tomato. I mean, that's how I look at that. Cale Makar is a huge stretch to compare to him. Maybe right now, but when Lane Hudson hits, we'll see. Quinn Hughes is good for me too. I'm good. Joe, lines in general for what? I'm missing you on that. Sorry. Newhook, Doc, Anderson. That's what I've got. That's what I've got for a second line. It's not as big as if Slav is on that wing, but Newhook's more experienced. Newhook is fast. I mean, he's gonna fit with those guys. It's a speedy line. He's basically 6 feet, Newhook, so it's not like he's bringing that line down too much. I like that. Yeah, I think that's a line you can kind of pencil in there, unless there's an injury in training camp or I don't even these guys. I mean, they could have maybe not the best training camp, but still going to be there. Nicholas with Newhook, I like Newhook. I'm really happy they got him. That's a guy I wanted them to get in the draft year, but I mean Caulfield fell to them, so obviously. But now that we got him, yeah, you're gonna like this kid. I believe we're all gonna love this kid. He's from Newfoundland, man. This kid's gonna work his ass off, and he's gonna make us love him. As far as I know, like every time I hear a player that he's from Newfoundland, and it doesn't surprise me. They've got that dogged work ethic usually, and yeah, I think Newhook's got that, and he's fast. Try Hudson on the first line. Yeah, he's a defenseman though. And honestly, Hudson's on the small side. He's 5'9". From his mouth, he's 5'9". He said they said 5'10" because his junior team wanted to bump him up a little bit. So he's 5'9". And then you got Caulfield who's 5'7.5". You don't want that on your first line. And he's a defenseman. He's not playing forward. Huzu, I just saw that. At least tryout. They got their development camp going on. I don't know what he just floored one of their prospects and gave him a concussion. He says the Sens try to injure players every summer without fail. Their opponents they try to injure and Leafs destroy their own. He's trying to make his name. They brought him in. He wants to make a name. Lines in general for mix and match prior to the season. Yeah, I mean, but that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to figure out what will end up. But yeah, I mean, that's what training camp's for. You got to try guys together, see how they look, and figure your lines. And but that's for training camp, definitely. Tony says he's been watching Newhook since he joined Colorado, and Tony truly believes he had a lot more to give. Yeah, I mean the kid's had 3. I mean 2 plus a little bit of another season. Like he's got a lot of. He's young. That's what I guess I'm going for. He's young, so not even close to reaching his ceiling. Leon, I'm not sure what you said. My T-shirt is cool. Is that what you said there? Or somebody else's T-shirt? Yeah, but it's cool. It says cool right on it. Cool pop for Father's Day. I bought it for myself. I can't tell which has which. Yeah, it's a Father's Day T-shirt. I saw it at Walmart and said, yeah, I like that. And it's perfect for a hot freaking day, which it is. Yeah, so I literally got nothing, so I'm gonna need you guys to keep asking questions because they're very quiet. I mean, it's the it's the time of the season, especially since Montreal probably not doing too much more in this off season. Yeah, it's gonna be quiet that way. Um, LL Cool J. Is that what you? No, it's not LL Cool J. It's just a popsicle. Colorado is just stacked. He needed ice time, but it's hard with Colorado's big guns. Yeah, and they also were really they got cap problems, so they needed to make room. And he's an RFA that would needed a contract, so just not having to pay him, three, whatever the contract would be. They save money. I think they gave up a really good prospect, and I'm happy. Montreal, I don't think they'll have it. They qualified him already, so they have time to work out a deal with him. I'm sure they're going to work out something along the lines of what Kirby Doc signed for. That's what I think. He'll get a 3 or 4 year deal, 3.5 million around something like that, and yeah, that's what I expect. Very affordable, and I don't think he's going to disappoint. Maybe they only sign him 2 years as a bridge. He'll prove himself. They'll sign him to a bigger contract once the cap is going up. Who else was getting in on Newhook? Or in on getting Newhook? I haven't heard any of that, so I've no idea. And oftentimes you don't hear about that part. So I would bet there are other teams. Newhook's not a guy that had no interest, guaranteed. So there were probably a few other teams there. And you think about that. So then, that Montreal had to give 2 draft picks like that. Yeah, because there was competition to get the guy, and it was a guy that they wanted. That type of player they had announced that they were looking for an age-specific kind of player. Newhook fit the bill for all that. It also makes me think that I may have been accurate back when he was drafted, that Montreal actually was very interested in Newhook then. And, they got Caulfield, which, of course, over Newhook. But now they had an opportunity to get him. Bottom 6 guys been all signing league minimum, basically, contracts this year. If you're saying Newhook's bottom 6 guy, he's not. Matter of fact, his qualifying offer is bigger than that. I almost guarantee he must have been making. I don't know if he just finished his ELC or not, so maybe I'm wrong there, but I'm probably wrong that he probably just finished his ELC. So like that's basically his qualifying offer. Hudson better than Marner. He should be playing forward, same size, but he's not a forward. He's a defenseman. Marner's a forward. I don't see how you want to compare the two that way. I'm not saying that there aren't players that play both or have gone from one to the other. Hudson's going to be your power play quarterback, and he's going to be a good one, and you don't want to change that, man. We don't have one. We don't have definitely not one of that quality that I believe he's going to be, and I'm looking forward to seeing Hudson quarterbacking the power play for the first wave. Hughes doesn't strike Huzu, by the way. Hey, Huzu, I don't know if I said hi before. Strike me as someone who gets into bidding wars for players at this point in the rebuild. I don't know if giving 2 draft picks and Fairbrother is a bidding war, really. But, I'm sure I don't think that's a bidding war. He gave the better offer for Newhook, I guess. I mean, that's what I guess. I don't know. Don't know the details. And oftentimes we do not find out the details. I agree. Try Hudson on forward, says Leon. Brett Burns was a forward. They switched him up. Okay, but no, I don't agree with that. No, I don't agree with it at all. You know why I don't agree? We don't have problems with forwards. We got a good crop of young forwards. It's not like you need to do that as a desperation move. And I think Hudson's going to do more on the back end than he's going to do from forward. That's what I think. Would I love to have Marner? If they got him, I guess I'd be okay with it. I've said it before. But I don't know. I mean, he's a guy who's not going to win you anything in the playoffs. So he's also making a shit ton of money. If you can't win in the playoffs and you're overpaid, no. Joseph, I'm not arguing that he couldn't play it forward, but they're not going to do it. That's what I'm saying. And why talent? There's no talent on the defense. You got to have talented guys there too. I don't think Hughes overpays for anything. Joseph, we don't have too many defenders, dude. It'll shake out. You'll see. It'll shake out, and there'll be times where like, where are we going to get a defenseman? You can never have too many good defensemen. It's a good problem for them to have, man. And if they need to, they'll move some guys. But Hudson's not going to be a forward. Yeah, Joe Marner costs too much. That's number one. Just look at his salary. It's not happening. And then what does he do in the playoffs? I don't think they want to bring in guys that don't play well in the playoffs. Because, you can win the regular season, but if you don't win the Stanley Cup, what's the use of winning the regular? What's the use? But Tony, I mean, if you get a guy that's a cherry picker or whatever, I can get 100 points. It doesn't mean he's helping his team necessarily either. So, I fully believe Nick Suzuki will be in that range, in the next couple of seasons. I take his game over Marner's any day. And he did probably pick up leaf habits, Joseph. You're probably right. Maurice, I think he announced before he got here for the draft that he wasn't going to be at this year's camp for whatever team. He says, well, apparently that's a rumor that I think was actually a lie, but potentially at the next camp. But he can't be at camp until his deal is over in Russia. Then he'll come to camp. I don't think he's coming to camp until then. So to say he refused is being what's the word I'm looking for? It's just being. It's not honest. That's not honest. Yeah, you read probably somebody's article or what that it was clickbait and trying to get people, whatever to just click and read or watch the video. But I don't think that's honest. I don't think I've ever heard of a player in the KHL that's got a contract that comes here to the camp and then goes back there. I don't think I've ever heard of that. If anybody knows if I'm right or wrong there, please let me know here in the chat. But I don't think I've ever heard of that. And speaking of that, if you're here having a good time, you might be. Give a thumbs up. I appreciate that. If you haven't subscribed, please consider hitting that subscribe button. I appreciate that too. Michkov said no camps any team. Well, I don't know that it was his choice to do that anyway. I don't think he could come to camp. But then I could be wrong, but I kind of think I'm right. We need a 100-point guy. Why can't we even have one guy with that? Suzuki was best in the 60 points. That's insane in my books. Suzuki got 66 points last year on a team that was decimated by injuries. He's only in his fourth season. His first year as captain. What else you want to say? He's their best player. He carried the team on his back and got 66 points. That's not his ceiling. I don't know. Why do people think that that's his ceiling? Who do I think, it's 9 o'clock and all as well, who do I think will surprise us up front making the team? That's a good question. God, to surprise us to make the team. The guy that I think will make the team, I think there's two kids with good potential to make the team that hasn't started with the team yet. And that's Owen Beck, especially if they trade Devo. If they trade Dvorak, you got to think they believe Owen Beck might make the team. Also, you got a guy like Joshua Roy. I don't know why people don't really think, but I think he's got a good possibility to make the team. They're going to give him a good look in camp anyway. Let's put it that way. And, so I think those are the two best candidates so far from doing my early lineup predictions. So I'll tell you, Beck for sure. He was what the last training camp or the second to last. He's going to make a run to stay with the team. I believe that he'll do his best. Whether he does, I don't know. And I've heard a few other people give that opinion. And he was close last year. But I think also Joshua Roy, if he has a good camp, you got to figure if Joshua Roy comes in and impresses in camp, he's breaking camp with the Habs. Tony, watching Buffalo this year, well, better than living in Buffalo. Yeah, Benson's got great potential. Imagine, he's a great passer, maybe the best passer and playmaker in the draft. Benson was. Now he's passing to Tage Thompson. They got some talent over there. Yeah, could be really good for them. Does he make the team this year? Probably not. Joe, yeah. I mean, hopefully those injury gremlins are gone. I just see Suzuki getting better. I feel. Well, I'm going to go back to that prediction I had last year where I thought he'd be would do better than Kovalev's best season here at 84 points. I'm going to put him on that pace this season because I think he's capable, and with less injuries, and if he has a line mate on the right side like Monahan as well, and Caulfield doesn't get hurt all year, you're looking at a big jump in his production. You got to figure, how could it not be? We have too many centers at the moment. Beck will start Laval, but it depends on how you look at it. If you're looking at Newhook, well, he's a center. Yeah, but he's not a center that's going to play center. He's a left wing. He may play center in a pinch, in a matchup, for if there's injuries, but he's not starting that way. So I think they want to have a lot of centers and have some of them play wing. So are there too many? I mean, there sort of are. That's why Devo, it's a possibility they're going to trade Dvorak. Maybe during training camp, maybe Beck comes in, they just wow the hell out of him, or he wows the hell out of them, and they find a deal to move Dvorak. Like, who knows, right? But Dvorak's making 4.5 million, almost 4.5. You got to figure if he's in camp and he's on the team, he's playing. Could Elias Anderson actually have a chance to make the big club? I mean, yeah, chance for sure. But will he? I don't know. He'll have to earn it. And that's why the two-way contract, right? Because they're giving him a chance, but it's not going to hurt them if he doesn't. I haven't seen him play at all personally. Didn't do great in his first 100 and I don't know how many games, 110 games that he's played for Rangers in LA. We'll see what happens. They're going to give him a chance. They're going to give him a look. He could be depth for injuries during the season. There's a lot of things, I don't think I don't hold out hope he's going to win a job at a camp, but you never know. Oh, geez. J-Fed says Buffalo took a big loss. Jack Quinn ruptured his Achilles out till 2024, if not all season. So out at least probably. That's going to take a long time now. He's out all season, I would think. A torn Achilles, a ruptured Achilles. It's not even a torn Achilles. It's a ruptured. That's probably a 2-year total healing. Like he won't be the same for a couple of years. That hurts for Buffalo. Sometimes if you don't have bad luck, you got no luck at all, man. Is Beck allowed to play in the AHL this season? How old is he? As long as he's 19 or more, he is. I think because he's North American player, I think it's 18 years old. They can't. The return of the Suzufield synergy. So that's at first I've seen it. That name. Peter. How's it going, Pete? Let's see. You be good. Tequila. Tequila makes all good. He's all good. Here's to the tequila, man. Having two guys good on faceoffs on each line is a bonus. I mean, I think it is, and I think a lot of teams are going to go that way. Now, here's a name from the past a bit. I haven't seen Johnny Golden in forever. Johnny Golden, man, welcome back. Good to see you, buddy. How you been? Did you like the trade for Newhook? I did. I did. I really like Newhook. And I don't think it was giving up too much. I really don't. And I think he's going to prove that in his first season. So, yeah, I did. I really liked it. Geez, Joseph, I thought you were talking about Jack Nicklaus there, the way you wrote Nicklaus, and going, what's he talking about there? Yeah, well, he's 19. He's over 19. He's allowed to play in the AHL. Like I said, North American players, drafted North American kids can't go to the AHL till they're in their 18-year season, in their 18-year-old season. So they're draft. I guess that's draft plus one. Now, if you come from Europe and you're picked in the first round, you are allowed to go to the AHL. Is a difference. So, but now that he's in his draft plus 2 year, he can go to the AHL. Are we good with that? If you are here and having a decent time, to a good time, to a great time, give a thumbs up. I appreciate that. And consider subscribing if you haven't already. You're pretty sure Beck has to go back to Ohio. Is he in the where's he playing? He's playing in college? If he's playing in college, yeah, I'm not sure what all the rules are for that. Pete says Newhook has great upside. It's unfortunate that a lot of people are not aware of the kid. I'm super excited to see how he does with this group of players. Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to be on that second line with Kirby Doc and probably Andy on the other side, and going to be a fast line. Fast and skilled. Yeah, I'm not sure where they draw the line on that, you guys. Hopefully somebody knows that and can actually either check it out and let us know, or oh, that was OHL? Okay. Well, if it's OHL, then no, he can go to. I'm telling you, he can go to. He can go to the AHL. Well, why would that be though? It's a and no for Beck. He is 19. I believe he's allowed, just like Joshua Roy and Riley Kidney. They're allowed. So why wouldn't Beck be allowed? Does it have something to do with the OHL as opposed to the Q? Yeah, I don't know. I would check that, but um, yeah, I can't do that while I'm here. Where's Matt when you need him? Because as far as I know, he can. I haven't heard anything though. Like I haven't heard anything about that. And if he goes back to the OHL, oh well. So Javed, so what you're saying that makes sense because when I heard about it, Riley Kidney and Roy, they're in the queue, and I'm not sure if I had heard it's different elsewhere. So I don't know if the WHL has its rule, OHL has its rule, and the Q has their rule. But from the Q, they're allowed after they're 18-year-old, like when they're 19. Where's Matt? Could not tell you. Hang on, let me check. I got a tracker on him. No, I don't. Javed, the NHL, I know that they can make the NHL, but it was the AHL that is what's in question. Um, are you sure about that though? They have to be 20. I'm pretty sure that Kidney and Roy can be in the AHL. Now, remember this from the start of this season. At the beginning, there was talk about that, and that's what I'd heard. Not at 18 years old. Maybe it's 19, and I'm totally wrong. And it's not at 19 years old they can't. So maybe I don't know. I'm positive, aren't I? Well, if it's 20, then no, because they're not 20. But Beck could definitely make the Habs. But what happens? Okay, let's ask this question. They make the Habs, and then partway, their struggle, and they want to send them down. They send them back to the junior team, right? They don't have to hold on to them all season. I mean, I'm pretty sure I know the answer to that, but maybe I'm wrong. They will be 20 by the end of December 31st this year. That might be the draw. Like, as long as they're 20 by the end of the season, they can play in the AHL. So maybe that is what it is. Right? If they're going to be 20 mid season, maybe they're allowed. I don't know. Johnny Golden says, I read in an article by Mark Dumas this week he can't go to AHL, unfortunately. All right, well, there you go. It's fine. I mean, he either makes Montreal or he goes back to the OHL. There's nothing wrong with that. That's every other player that's come through the way he has to do the same. I do know, though, it's different for European players that were drafted in the first round. They're allowed. Like Mayshar could have gone to the AHL last year, but they decided not to send him there and to put him in junior. And I believe Mayshar will be on the Rocket this year. So that's the reason why he's allowed. Well, Beck did Tony. He did last training camp. You got to figure he's better. There's a good chance he could make the team. And you don't. Who knows about injuries and other players that are competing for the same job? Maybe he has a better camp. Is it the same for American players? I only heard European players are allowed. I didn't hear that about American players. I thought it was the same. I thought North American players were grouped together in that rule, but from Europe is different. But hey, you learn something new every day, and I don't know everything, so I could learn something new every day. No problem. Leon, who better? Beck better work hard because he's pissed. Because he'd be pissed. Who's pissed though? And why? Why is Beck pissed? Beck looks like he got a bit of a dirty streak in him at the end of last season. I hope that's not the case. Yeah, I get the playing dirty could be okay to a certain extent, but I mean he was getting caught big time. No, he wasn't, but he's a big time player. Yes, thanks to everybody for explaining that AHL situation. There's so many of these little rules that it's confusing. You never know. I learn stuff about rules all the time. And I go like, why didn't I know that already? Quiet time. So I'm doing this early lineup prediction. So I'm trying to figure out where Armia and Hoffman are going to play. You guys, what do you think? What do you think is going to happen with those two guys? I mean, they can't move them. They got to play next year. What's y'all's opinion on that? Beck doesn't have a chance. He'll be in junior this year too. Not enough place for him and can't be AHL. Kind of figured that depends on the Christian Dvorak situation. If they move Dvorak, I think it opens up the possibility of Beck making the team. But if Dvorak's still here, like if he's here, I don't think Beck makes it. Renault. Habs have almost 50 million of their cap space allocated on forwards, which is more than Vegas at 45.5. How can you explain that? I mean, I can't without seeing it, so I haven't seen that. Honestly, I don't know if that's true or not, but I think it's okay. They've got a lot of kids on defense, so there's not a lot of money spent there on defense, and I guess that's probably the explanation. Beck does not want to go back to junior, but he might not have a choice if he doesn't make the Habs. He's got no choice. Nicholas Hoffman's contract is 4.5. Armia's 3.4. But what are they going to do with them? I don't think they're going to be able to move them. The only way I think they can move them is to, like the way we got Monahan, send them to a team, throw a draft pick, and say bye. He's your problem now. I don't see another way to get rid of them. I don't think there's any interest in them otherwise from anybody. So, and Armia is going to be even harder because he's got 2 years, at least 2 years left on his contract. So what do we do with them? I guess we got to play them. So then that begs the question of where do they play? And is Montreal not better off maybe burying them in the minors? They save 1.1 million for each of the contracts. But at least they've got spots open for the kids, because playing Hoffman and Armia this season, it's like, why? Hey, Doug, how you doing, man? But Joseph, waiving him doesn't accomplish anything if he either doesn't get picked up on waivers or they don't send him to the AHL. Excuse me, my eye is itchy. So it doesn't accomplish anything. Buying out Armia is a no-no right now. Too many years left on the contract, and it's not going to be worth it. And they won't do it anyway. They don't want to they don't want any money carrying into next season's cap other than the bonus money that the young kids get. That carries over at the end of the season. They don't want any other contracts, nothing carrying over, no dead cap over there. Hey, Duke. Now, we've established that. It's just that he doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want to go back, but I mean, he doesn't have a choice. Rems, yeah, 100%. You're not buying out Armia. They won't buy out Hoffman. And if they bought out Hoffman when the buyout period was, it would have carried over to next year, but it would have been, $1.5 million, a little over that. And they wouldn't do that. So they're not buying out Armia. Tony, I don't think he can get out of his contract either, but they might do that. They might have to do that. I wonder. It's going to be an interesting thing to watch, see what happens there. Johnny Golden, maybe. Yeah, you might be right. Got to hang on to him, get him, to produce something, so that there be some interest. There was no interest last year, but he would have had the extra year left over. This year, he won't have any extra contract left over. He might be tradable. But I mean, what are you going to get back for him, though? Is it worth having to go through all that and taking up a spot for a young player? I don't know. You can buy out Weidman, but they can't because the buyout period's ended. So they're not buying out Weidman, they're not buying out Devo, and they're not buying out Hoffman. I mean, Devo also 2 years left, so they're not doing that. Anthony, am I happy Drew is gone? He's gone. I had my say, and I'm not gonna bust on the guy any more than that. He's gone, and I hope the best for him. Send Hoffman and Armia to the beer league that Kane is playing in. I don't know if you can do that, but again, the same thing. It's like waiving them and then sending them to the minor. You only get $1.1 million in relief, which is fine. But yeah, I mean, if they might do that, they might end up having to do that. What do I think about bringing in Delorier? You're talking about Nick Delorier? No, why? How's that going to benefit Montreal? Because the other teams in the division got tougher? Yeah, I don't think so. We need to ride out the Hoffman contract, and it's Armia and Devo we have to sell. I think those three guys. I mean, potentially any one or all three of those guys could be moved somehow if they could do it. So I have a feeling Devo's going to be. I mean, he'll play, and I think they have to waive Hoffman and Armia and bury them in Laval. Wouldn't it be awesome if they waive Armia and someone picks him up? Wow, that would be awesome. Hey, Justin, thanks for the dono, buddy. Appreciate the support, man. Have a good night. Thanks for hanging out a little bit with us. Hope the family is well. So Justin will get another name into the next draw, which should be coming up soon enough. Times are tough right now. That's all I could say. But thanks, Justin. I appreciate it. Zachary, how's the song about the Leafs coming along? I haven't been able to work on it, so it's not right at the moment, but it's still going to. Now that I got a couple of videos that I wanted to get done out of the way, it's on the horizon. Hopefully, I say hopefully, but I don't know how it's going to go in recording it. If I have trouble and it doesn't come off, it's not happening. If it goes well, then you'll all see it. But on this one, I really have no idea how it's going to come off. It's not an easy song. I'm having trouble with the timing. Let's put it that way. So we'll see how that works out. And then if I do get it out there, I'll be sharing whatever money it makes with the Beatles record company, which is kind of awesome. I'll have a 6 degree of separation with the Beatles. Joel, hey Joel, how you doing, man? Wow, good, long time. Good to see you. I always see Randy. Haven't seen you in a while. 2 guys worth considering as free agents, and frankly, the Atlantic Division just got tougher. Brendan Lemieux and Maxime Comtois. Lemieux, I'd say no. I don't think he brings anything to the table that Montreal's looking for. The talk, I've heard some rumors about Comtois. I don't know. I don't see Montreal doing anything like that. We've got enough tough guys here. I think we've got some tough guys here that I think we're okay. So I don't know. George Larac told Tony on Sick Pod, Reeves can't wait to punch Arbor out. That's if Reeves plays. Listen, even if he's in the lineup, Reeves is going to play 2 minutes a period, 2.5 minutes a period, 3 minutes a period at the most. They signed a guy for $3 million a season to play 8 to 10 minutes a game. So we'll see what happens. Who will have the best development of the young guns this season? Well, it depends what you consider a young gun. So why don't you give me a couple of names and because maybe my idea of a young gun isn't yours. Hey, Justin, thanks for another dono there, buddy. Yeah, absolutely. And all the best to your family, dude. Seriously. Get some sleep, man. Get some sleep. What are you doing here? You should be sleeping. Do I think Fowler will be a number 1? I think the potential is there. It's too early to tell. He's got a lot of work to go. He is raw, but he's got potential. So, I kind of think Montreal targeted him at 69. That was their pick in the 3rd round. And he was there when they, I was expecting him to trade up into the 2nd round to grab one of those top. Who did he go 5th or 6th? So the top 5 guys, one of those guys anyway. And they didn't do that. And I think the reason was that why waste assets if you feel that if you can get this guy, that you can develop him, and you know what I mean? They must have liked. Well, I mean, he's got potential. So, do I think he's a number 1? I think I like him as a number 1 a lot more than I liked Primo as a number 1. This kid has a lot more poise, a lot more confidence in himself. There's stuff about this kid I like. So, but we won't know for literally 5, 6, 7 years if he's a number 1. Joseph, thanks for being here. Have a good night, eh? Was Fowler the first goalie drafted? No, he was the sixth, I believe. He looks the best from all the goalies. It depends. There are a couple guys at the top. I mean, they look really good, but Fowler is definitely in that group. I think the big knock on him is his conditioning. But I mean, he's an 18-year-old kid. To think that he can't in the next 4 or 5 years get into top shape, unless he's really lazy and that's the reason for his conditioning, I don't know. We're gonna find out. I would think they've checked and done their research if they drafted him. Askarov is a number one. Well, he isn't yet. I'll just say that, right? So I kind of think he is too, but until he hits and proves that he isn't, right? He's got the potential. That's what he's got. Jeff would have loved to have Askarov here. Jeff wanted the Habs to try to get Askarov. How much would I give Newhook for dollars? I was saying earlier, I think he'll end up with something similar to what Doc signed for last year. Maybe not 4 years, maybe 3 years, maybe even only 2, but in that money range. It'll be a prove me bridge deal, and they'll go from there. Hughes turned him down, Leon. He turned him down when Nashville tried to trade up. So Doc Sloff, Gooley, Caulfield, and Raphael, RV Pinard, for example, are any other in the big team, Rick? So those are the guys you are saying, who do I think will have the best? Is that what it was? Whoops. Why is... Oh, no, that's not it. Right, okay. Well... when you put Caulfield in there, I think if Caulfield didn't get hurt last year, we wouldn't be putting him there because he would have hit some really big numbers, like goals. Like I think he would have hit between 40 and 50 goals. I don't think we're going to be saying, oh, well, is there room? Like, is he going to be a big improvement over these guys? Like, I don't think Caulfield would be there. So I'm going to take him out of that. I want to say Doc. I think Doc made some really big strides. A lot of it was on right wing, and then he started playing center, and I thought he played it well. And I think this year he's going to start that way as a second line center. I'm expecting Doc to have a pretty good to good year, so it's going to be Doc for me. Hey, Garrett, where do I expect the team to finish in the standings next season? Not in the bottom 10. I'll just say if they get away from the injury bug, so if that happens and we don't have those injuries like in that to that extent, yeah, I think they finish. I think anywhere 12 to 14. Maybe I'm looking at it the wrong way. What would that be? 22nd, 20th in the area of 20th, 18th to 20th. How's that? That better? Yeah, that makes more sense. Because I think without the injuries, this is a much better team than if they didn't have those injuries last year. No way we picked number 5 this year. We wouldn't have been there. So Askarov can't stay in his net. That's because he's not done. And here, a promising goalie like Askarov, and he still needs to develop a little bit. And you know what? Even all that, promising as he was, might never even hit. It's happened and will happen again. Newhook was not in your list. Yeah, I guess, if you're going to add Newhook in there, Doc and Newhook. Because I think I mean, Gooley was great last year. So how much better can he play? I know he can play better, but I mean, how much better, right? Slav, I think, will be better, but I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be better, more improved than Doc. Raphael Harvey Pinard, I don't think he'll have the same role as it'll be a bottom six role. It won't be the same. So, yeah, Newhook and Doc. Where was I? Fowler has Quebec family connections. He sure does. He's got an aunt that went to McGill and stuck around a little bit. His father almost lived here for a year, and he's got all kinds of family that lives in Quebec City and Montreal. So this is actually a plus for the kid, because if when he makes the club, that's a lot of family support here for him in his first couple of seasons here. That's got to help a young kid. So that's really good, and he really wants to be here. Like, he's really happy to be in the Habs organization. Watch my video I put out. I got some of it was a post-draft interview, and I got a few comments from him in there through the video, so check it out. Which player do I think will surprise the most next season? I think, again, I'm going to say Doc, because I don't think everybody's as sold on Doc as I am. And I think he's going to surprise everybody by cementing that second line center role. So I think Doc has a lot to show this coming season, and I'm expecting it. Yeah, Joe, I think that, and I've said this before, I think they make a bit of a run at a wild card, but then, fall off near the end, last month of the season or so. And they end up somewhere maybe as high as, 2 or 3 spots out of the wild card spot, which is like 18th in that area. Renegade Man, yeah, I mean, both Doc and Newhook have a lot to prove. Doc's second season here, Doc's second season with Marty St. Louis. I think Doc will, sort of outdistance Newhook in that department. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Newhook does. Yeah, Garrett, I'm really looking forward to seeing Doc grab the reins of that second line C and run with it. I think he's capable. I like what I saw. He's big. He can play physical, and he's really talented. And he drives offense. Yeah, I'm really excited to see where he can get to. Joe Pallotta. Logan Mailloux makes the team. No, he won't make the team. Not this year. He's going to the AHL. Many NHL scouts believe he might make it. It's not going to be this year. Everyone wanted him out. Now everyone loves him. He didn't commit a crime, just immature. I agree with that statement. Now, when they first drafted him, yeah, I was an idiot that didn't know the whole picture. I did research into it and realized, what actually happened, what was going on. And then, since then, you only get good reports on this kid. His teammates love him. He's done all the work needed. I don't think he could. We might see him for a couple of games, for them to take a look at him. I think he plays the year in the AHL. And then next season after that, Mailloux probably hits the NHL. Renegade Man, were you the one that made the comment? Someone made a comment on the video about that. And that's fine. And this video was not about Dobas. It was also not a knock on Dobas. It just said it was about Fowler, and Fowler is a potential number one of the future, but it was not anything to do with Dobas or not with Dobas. It just, the video was about Fowler. It wasn't about who is the goalie of the future. It was about Fowler. Is he a goalie of the future? That's all. Should the Habs go after either Zadina or Lafreniere? I say no on Zadina. We've already got that reclamation project in Elias Anderson. I don't think they're going to get a two-way deal with Zadina. I think the Rangers signed Lafreniere. He's just an RFA, so for Lafreniere, I don't know how you do it without doing an offer sheet or a trade. So no. I know I did a video about it, but then they fired the coach, and I said after that, I think they're not going to move him. Nicholas Lovedock could be the best C in a few years, even. He could be, yeah. He's got good potential at that second line C. Can definitely see him becoming a solid second line center or more. Yeah, he could at some point take over first line C. I could see that the potential is there. I don't know if he'll do it. Hey Franco, how's it going, man? It's been a while. Good to see you, buddy. Really good to see you. Talking about Newhook. Oh, Newhook. No, it's Newhook. Yeah, I didn't get them at Newhook though. Thank you. I appreciate that. I look marvelous. You look marvelous. Billy Crystal. Joe thinks the surprise player for improvement will be the defense due to the competition building up after next season. You might be right. I just think that Doc's gonna. I think. Well, a lot of those guys, they're in their sophomore seasons, so it could be difficult and it might be great. But I think Doc definitely is going to do it. So, but you might be right. I wouldn't argue with you on that. Like, you could definitely make a case for it. Zachary's excited for a hockey season this year coming up. So are we all. But, it's good to have a bit of a break and recharge the batteries, at least for me. Johnny Golden, can we bring in a goalie for Laval and trade Primo? I guess. I mean, if they've given up on Primo, you might see that happen, that they trade Primo. Or, I mean, they keep him in Laval and, him and Dobas go the season in Laval. Because Fowler's going to Boston College. So, and I expect him to go there for 4 years. One of the reasons is both his parents are lawyers and big scholars. He's going for the education. And you know what? 4 years at Boston College, which is a good university for producing goaltenders, it will be good for him. So it was funny. The Habs fans wanted Zadina over KK, but KK is better than Zadina, even though he's not with the team anymore. You might be right. I just know that Zadina kind of betting on himself. He still had like a year left or something. I don't know exactly what happened there, but he wanted out. And he's betting on himself. Who would I play with Doc if he's number 2? Not Slav. I think if Slav makes the team, I think it's in a third line center, not center, third line capacity in that earn his way up, which they're going to give him the opportunity to do, and he might just do it. No, I see. Where is it? What was the question? Who plays with Doc? Newhook and Anderson. I kind of, for me, the first 2 lines are. I don't know if they're gonna if you're gonna mess with that. Suzuki, Caulfield, Monahan for me, and then Doc, Newhook, Anderson. As long as training camps go well for these guys, I think that's the top 6. KK could still be a second or third line C. He's definitely gonna get a look. From what I understand, in Carolina as a second C. So Zadina flopped so far for whatever reason. Always happens to some top 10 picks. It does. Just never know. Zadina could bounce back. Who knows? Still young. And that's also the case. Maybe just a change of scenery. Sometimes, that really works. We'll see what happens. How are we doing for time? Another few minutes and I'm going to be going. So say another 5 minutes about. So if you haven't asked a question, you still want something to know something, ask me and I will tell you. In the meantime, wow, there's 30 people in the room. Give a thumbs up if you're enjoying the show. I appreciate that. And consider to subscribe if you haven't already. I'd also appreciate that. Joel says, if there's one player who one might refer to as the X Factor, it would be Aaron Ekblad. I also hear the Matthias Norlinder has really begun to improve too. Is it Ekblad's where? In Florida? I'm not sure why you want to refer to Ekblad. For as far as Norlinder, I kind of think though, is there room for Norlinder? Like at this point, I don't know. I kind of think if Norlinder does improve, you got to see him being moved somewhere, or he's depth, but I don't. With the guys that are already here for the big club, I don't see Norlinder cracking that. Not this season, anyway. Definitely. But I do think Norlinder's time is kind of. Ever since we got Norlinder, they've gotten better guys, and they've worked out so far, and yeah. Man, my cat wants in. I don't know if you can hear my cat trying to get in, meowing. Ooh, we're losing people. Not about 4 more minutes. Johnny Golden, like great to see you, Johnny. It really anytime, please come back, and it's always good to see you. And I know I see still sharp on your stats and shit like that. So good to know. My cat. You'd think after doing this in this room here, I'm here for, I guess about 2 seasons, 2 years now. He'd understand what I'm doing in here and not to be meowing like that. But no. Okay, Peanut, quiet. Norlinder and Mishak is running out of time. I don't know about for Mishak yet, but Norlinder, I think, yeah. I think that he's probably out of time. No, Paul, they've eaten a couple hours ago. No, it's a door. It's a closed door. My cats hate closed doors. I'll let him in, close the door again. 2 minutes, he'll want out because the door's closed. So, but anyways, I'm taking off now anyway, so it doesn't matter. Okay, Peanut, quiet. He's like that sometimes. He's handicapped. So, what can I do? All right, so I'm going to take off here. So please, if you haven't checked out the Fowler video, it's out there. Please do that. Peanut's the cat's name. Yeah, I'm going to probably do an early lineup video soon. And I got that song and whatever else comes up. So please look for that stuff. I'll be back on Wednesday, definitely for the Wednesday night show. And if any Habs trades or whatever happen, I will definitely do a video about that. Oh, Joel, you meant Engstrom. Yes, talked about it earlier. Engstrom is definitely a dark horse, someone I don't know a lot about, but I'm hearing that the kid could make the team, maybe even this year. So I don't know enough. Maybe I'll do a video about Engstrom, but I'm going to check into him a little bit more. But yeah, he's definitely somebody to watch on defense. All right, so before my cat goes nuts, I'm going to take off here. Give a thumbs up on your way out. I appreciate that. And yeah, that's it. Enjoy the rest of the night. There's still a lot of night left. Thanks for being here, as always. And stay safe till next time. So peace out, y'all. Enjoy the rest of the evening. And ciao, everybody. Keep your sticks on the ice and go Habs go. Bye, everybody. And the cat's probably